Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and decode what might just be the most profoundly complex map of reality ever written, the Mahāpatthāna. I mean, if you've ever wondered exactly how the universe connects the tiniest, smallest flicker of a passing thought to the grandest physical actions, and does it all without needing a single creator, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down this incredible, ancient blueprint that literally maps out the absolute fundamentals of our existence. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the crown of Abhidhamma, move on to the universe's genetic code, see how this compares to ancient wisdom and modern science, use it as a map for the mind, and finally, explore the path to peace. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, the crown of Abhidhamma, decoding the deepest Buddhist text. We're looking at Volume 7 of the Abhidhamma Pitaka, which is universally praised across the Theravada Buddhist academic world. Now, the crucial point here is just how different this text is from what you might be used to. Normally, general suttas, or ancient teachings, are full of parables, right? They feature people, specific events, and conventional realities. But the Phattana, it's entirely different. It reads like a rigorous, analytical textbook that maps out pure network causality. There are literally no stories here, just the raw mechanics of how existence actually operates. It completely strips away the narrative of who or what is happening. Instead, it focuses entirely on this concept called Sabhaya Dhamma. Basically, these are the ultimate realities. The Phattana breaks down every single physical and mental experience into its raw, absolute components. So it's not about John is angry. It's about the exact fundamental elements of consciousness and matter interacting in a specific, fleeting moment. Moving to Section 2. The universe's genetic code, the 24 conditions. Ancient scholars actually called this text the Great Book of Endless Explanations. And as we'll see, that's because everything relies interdependently on everything else. And it all comes down to this massive number, 24. This represents the 24 conditions, which form the core framework of this entire philosophy. Modern scholars actually compare these conditions to the very genetic code of the universe. They're the underlying rules dictating how every mental state, physical form, and evolutionary process influences the next. Think of it as the ultimate back-end source code for reality. To give you an idea of how this actually works, let's look at just a few of these conditions. You've got Hetu, the root condition, which acts kind of like a seed. You have Aramana, the object condition, giving the mind something to focus on. Then there's Kama, the action condition, and Vipaka, the inevitable result of that action. By mapping these out, the text shows exactly how mental and physical phenomena intertwine, fraction of a second by fraction of a second. Now, to keep this vast universe of data organized, ancient scholars couldn't just throw information at the wall and hope it sticks. They used incredibly advanced logic, structuring the text into 3 exact analytical steps. First, Paccaya sets up the variables. Second, Paccaya explains the mechanisms of how they relate. And finally, Puchavara applies rigorous, logical questioning to test and verify these realities from every conceivable angle. It is remarkably scientific. They even categorized all of reality into groups of 3 to analyze their relationships, breaking things down into kusala, which is wholesome, akusala, unwholesome, and abhyakta, or neutral. And what's super fascinating here is that even wholesome goodness doesn't just magically appear out of thin air. It requires a really complex recipe of supporting mental factors, causes, and conditions at every single moment to exist. Let's pivot to Section 3. Ancient wisdom, modern science, the blueprint of complexity. This is where it gets truly wild, mapping ancient thought directly onto modern science. I absolutely love this quote because it transforms what you might think is just a dusty theological text into an ancient theory of complexity. It tells us that what we're looking at isn't just metaphysics, it is a profound systems theory. It bridges network causality with the butterfly effect. You know, the idea that the tiniest shift in a single condition can cascade into monumental consequences down the line. In fact, the Phattana perfectly mirrors cutting-edge scientific fields like systems theory, network theory, and complexity theory. All of these deal with how independent nodes interact to create complex wholes. The Phattana did this exact same thing for the human mind and physical reality millennia before we ever had supercomputers to model it. It proves that a tiny causal factor rippling through a network is just a universal truth. Okay, Section 4. a map for the mind, the Vipassana and inner peace. Let's bring this macro-level cosmic theory right down into your daily life and see how it becomes an unparalleled tool for mindfulness. So, in the practice of Vipassana, or insight meditation, understanding this network causality isn't just some intellectual exercise. It develops what is known as Paccaya Parigahayana. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it represents profound insight knowledge. It's that aha moment your mind stops thinking about the theory and actually sees exactly how your physical body and your mental states continuously trigger one another in real time. And the immediate, highly practical benefit of this insight? It's the reduction of uddhacca. Now, uddhacca is that awful, restless anxiety, that mental static and distraction we all feel creeping in when we're trying to focus or honestly just live our lives. The Patana provides the direct antidote to this. The crucial takeaway here is the massive paradigm shift this creates in your head. By seeing anger, sadness, or anxiety merely as causal factors popping up in a biological and mental network, you instantly stop identifying with them. You realize they aren't you and they aren't yours. They're just conditions arising from causes. And truly grasping this, it cuts the very root of anxiety. Finally, Section 5, the path to peace, from the individual to society. Let's see how this ultimate life hack scales up for everyone. The text strongly emphasizes the condition of anyamanya paccaya, which translates to mutuality or deep interdependence. Modern scholars and ethicists are actually taking this exact principle and applying it to contemporary society today. Because think about it, if we truly understand that nothing exists independently, it naturally reduces selfishness. It proves that harming another part of the network harms the whole thing, which fosters genuinely peaceful cooperative communities. And there's a really clear historical preservation arc to this wisdom. It wasn't just written down and forgotten. The original text was fiercely protected by commentators over centuries through texts like the Paccaya. And because of that unbroken chain of dedication, this vital knowledge is still actively chanted, studied, and practiced in places like Thailand and Myanmar right up to this present day. Ultimately, this isn't just dry logic or a fun academic exercise. The Patthāna is a profound spiritual map. It points straight toward the ultimate realities of impermanence. It is perfectly designed to dissolve the illusion of the ego and, according to Theravada tradition, lay the absolute foundation for the end of human suffering. So I'll leave you to ponder this final question. If every emotion, every thought, and every physical action is simply a reaction to a previous condition in a completely endless, interdependent network, where exactly is the self? Where is the you in all of that? Really think about it, because if you can truly grasp this concept, it just might change how you experience absolutely everything. Thanks for checking out this explainer, and keep questioning the nature of your reality.